before the Super Bowl confetti even hit the ground, before the memes, the reactions, the highlight reels, before Bad Bunny finished the last note of his history-making halftime show, Caitlin Clark stepped forward and dropped a bombshell so shocking, so unexpected, so explosive, that it completely obliterated the entire internet Super Bowl conversation in seconds. Nobody saw it coming. Not the fans, not the commentators, not the WNBA, not even the NFL executives who thought they owned the night. But when Caitlin Clark speaks, the world listens. Brands panic. Leagues tremble. Trending pages shatter. Because tonight, Caitlin didn't just react to Bad Bunny's performance. She exposed something. Something the league tried to hide. Something the media didn't want her to address. Something that connects her. The WNBA, a secret Super Bowl invitation. And a behind-the-scenes moment involving one of the biggest music icons alive. And within minutes, Twitter went feral. TikTok went nuclear. Instagram locked comment sections. ESPN broke into programming. Reporters were begging for statements. Our fans were screaming, "What did she just say?" This changes everything. Caitlin just ended someone's career. Oh, she did not just expose that during the Super Bowl. Because the bombshell wasn't about Bad Bunny. It was about what happened before Bad Bunny went on stage. A private conversation, a leaked message, a blocked opportunity, a backstage altercation that was never supposed to get out. A deal that the WNBA PR team tried to bury, and a decision that almost kept Caitlin Clark out of the most watched event on Earth. And when she exposed it, fans realized Caitlin Clark wasn't just snubbed, she was sabotaged. And now she's done being silent. The truth she revealed? Absolutely brutal. The person she called out? A total shock. And the consequences? Brand ending. On Bad Bunny's halftime show was supposed to be the moment that stole the night. But Caitlin Clark just hijacked the entire Super Bowl conversation with one sentence. They didn't want me there. And now everyone knows why. Who didn't want her there? Why were they scared? What was the league hiding? How did she find out? And who is about to get exposed next? Because trust me, this story is about to get dark. Long before Caitlin Clark's Super Bowl bombshell shook the internet. Long before fans started piecing the clues together. Long before reporters realized something much bigger was happening behind the scenes. There were signs, hints, whispers, and they all pointed to one uncomfortable truth. Caitlin Clark was never supposed to share the spotlight with the NFL, because someone was working overtime to make sure she didn't. The setup began weeks before the Super Bowl, when networks, sponsors, and NFL marketing executives privately discussed the biggest question of the season. Who should represent women's sports at the biggest entertainment event on Earth? The answer should have been obvious. The rising global superstar, the face of women's basketball, the rookie who shattered viewership records, the athlete whose name outranks entire franchises, Caitlin Clark. And that's exactly who one of the NFL's largest sponsors wanted courtside during Super Bowl week, to appear in promotional events, backstage interviews, and possibly even a small spotlight moment during the halftime coverage. Multiple insiders confirmed it. Caitlin was the first name they pushed. She's the only WNBA athlete with that mainstream pull. She changes ratings, she changes engagement, she changes everything. So why wasn't she there? Why did the WNBA post nothing about her during Super Bowl week? Why did league officials go completely silent on the topic? Why was her appearance suddenly not possible after weeks of discussion? Because someone, somewhere stepped in. Someone with influence. Someone with power. Someone who did not want Caitlin Clark anywhere near the NFL's spotlight. But before we get to that part, you have to understand what was happening in the background. The WNBA was terrified. Caitlin Clark wasn't just outperforming the league, she was outgrowing it. Her games had higher ratings than some NBA matchups. Her jersey sales broke records. Her social media clips were outperforming the league's entire marketing budget. Her arrival doubled attendance for opposing teams. Executives pretending to support her were privately panicking. What happens when one player is bigger than the brand? What if she overshadows everyone else? What if the NFL or another league signs her for exclusive partnerships? What if she becomes the face of women's sports instead of the WNBA? The jealousy inside the league wasn't new. Caitlin had been dealing with it for months. But this was the first time that jealousy turned into corporate sabotage. While fans assumed Caitlin was simply busy or not invited, the truth was far uglier. She was invited. A major brand wanted her. The NFL approved the idea. But someone inside the WNBA didn't. And they shut it down. And this isn't speculation. It's documented. A leaked internal memo sent around the WNBA's marketing department warned, "Elevating individual athletes in third-party events risks overshadowing the league's collective narrative." Translation? Caitlin Clark is too big. Someone in the league wants to control her exposure. So when the Super Bowl opportunity came, someone blocked it. A WNBA official sent a response to the NFL's partner stating, "Caitlin is unavailable for Super Bowl involvement due to existing league obligations." Except she had no obligations that day. None. Zero. Fans didn't know. Reporters didn't know. Sponsors didn't know. Caitlin only found out later, and when she did, she was furious. Not because of the spotlight, not because of the fame, but because she realized the truth. The league wasn't protecting her. They were controlling her, limiting her, gatekeeping her exposure. The exact thing they claimed they were not doing. And things only got worse. Because the person orchestrating all of this wasn't a rival player, wasn't a random executive, wasn't a marketing intern. It was someone higher, someone who had the authority to override sponsor requests, someone who had the leverage to stop NFL collaborations, someone who was threatened by Caitlin's meteoric rise. While the NFL was preparing to put Caitlin Clark on the biggest stage in America, the WNBA was preparing to shut the door. And when Caitlin saw the truth for herself, the emails, the blocked request, the internal discussions, something in her snapped. She had been respectful. She had been humble. She had avoided drama. She had taken every hit and stayed quiet. But this was a direct sabotage of her career, her opportunities, her visibility, her impact, and most importantly, her ability to grow the women's game the way she believed it deserved. The WNBA didn't just block her from the Super Bowl. They blocked the entire league from benefiting from the exposure she would have brought. But the story gets even crazier. Because while all this was happening internally, Bad Bunny, who had no idea about the drama, was preparing the halftime show that would change the night. And somewhere backstage, somewhere in the middle of rehearsals, somewhere near a restricted green room, Caitlin Clark ran into someone she never expected. Someone who told her something that made her entire face change. Something that connected the WNBA's sabotage, the blocked Super Bowl appearance, and the mastermind behind it all. Someone who said, "You were supposed to be here tonight. We requested you. They said no." Caitlin blinked. They? Who's they? The answer was a name she never expected to hear. A name powerful enough to pull strings. A name with control over league operations. A name that had been working behind the scenes for months. And that name is what Caitlin exposed to the world after Bad Bunny's performance. The name that caused the internet to erupt. The name that made WNBA executives scramble. The name that made players DM her privately asking, "Is this true?" The name that might destroy a career. But the craziest part? That backstage conversation triggered Caitlin's bombshell. But it wasn't the whole truth, because the person who warned her, they weren't acting alone. Someone else had been feeding Caitlyn the truth. Someone inside the league. Someone with everything to lose. And when Caitlyn dropped her post-Super Bowl bombshell, that person's identity became the biggest mystery online. Who was protecting her? Who was leaking info? Who was going against the league? And why? Because the truth isn't just messy, it's dangerous. And Caitlyn Clark just set the entire thing on fire. The moment Bad Bunny stepped off the Super Bowl stage, the entire world was buzzing about his performance. The visuals, the features, the choreography, the surprise cameos that nearly broke TikTok. But all of that vanished the second Caitlyn Clark pressed post. Her bombshell didn't just steal attention from the halftime show. It erased it, and every trending tab shifted instantly. Bad Bunny to Caitlyn Clark Super Bowl to WNBA. A scandal halftime show to sabotage revealed. Within minutes, her statement hit 20 million views. People were confused, shocked, furious. What does she mean by that? Who blocked her? Why would anyone stop Caitlyn from attending? What is the WNBA hiding? Because Caitlyn didn't write a vague caption. She didn't leave room for interpretation. She went straight for the jugular. They didn't want me at the Super Bowl, and tonight, I found out who they are. Boom. Every sports desk froze. Every WNBA exec panicked. Every fan started digging for answers. Reporters started calling their sources. This wasn't a mysterious tease. This was a direct accusation. And the world demanded names. But before Caitlyn could say more, the internet went into detective mode. And they didn't have to wait long. Because a screenshot leaked. And a Backstage photo, time-stamped, watermarked, clearly taken in the VIP tunnel, showing Caitlyn Clark standing with someone very unexpected. Bad Bunny's manager. Not a random staffer, not an assistant. The actual manager of the halftime headliner. And he looked pissed. Fans zoomed in, enhancing the image like forensic analysts. You could clearly see him saying something to her, pointing angrily toward the Backstage access list. People started guessing. Did he tell her she was supposed to be invited? Is he the one who revealed the truth? Did he expose the WNBA's block? Within an hour, an insider confirmed it. Yes. Bad Bunny's team wanted Caitlyn Clark at the Super Bowl, in the VIP floor seats, backstage for meet and greets, and possibly in a short pre-halftime promo showing celebrities and athletes in attendance. Why? Because she's the biggest rising athlete in America. Because she pulls ratings. And because she dominates culture. Because her name drives engagement. The NFL approved it. The sponsor paid for it. Bad Bunny's team finalized it. Everything was set. But then, something happened at the last second. Someone, unnamed in the email chain, Japon responded, Caitlyn Clark will not be participating in Super Bowl activities. She has been ruled unavailable. Ruled unavailable? By who? Caitlyn didn't have a game. She didn't have travel conflicts. She didn't have WNBA obligations. But there was zero reason to stop her, which is exactly why Bad Bunny's manager confronted her backstage. According to the insider, he told her, "We asked your league about you 3 times. They told us you couldn't appear. They shut it down, not us." Caitlyn froze. "They said I was unavailable?" He nodded. "Not unavailable. They said restricted." Restricted. The word hit her like a punch. And that's when she realized. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't scheduling. This wasn't miscommunication. This was intentional. Someone inside the WNBA made sure she wouldn't step foot inside the Super Bowl spotlight. Because that spotlight would have been too big, too powerful, too mainstream, too threatening. But why and who? That answer came just 20 minutes later, in the most unexpected way possible. A second screenshot leaked. This one wasn't caught by chance. This one was sent anonymously. It had showed a private Slack message from a high-ranking WNBA official. Super Bowl exposure amplifies Caitlyn too much ahead of the season. We need to keep focus balanced across all players. Bro. What? They didn't block her because of logistics. They blocked her because she's too popular, too influential, too powerful, too magnetic, too much of a threat to the players who came before her. The internet exploded. They're sabotaging their own superstar? Jealousy at the highest level. Why is the WNBA afraid of Caitlin Clark? This is insane. But the next leak made things 100 times worse. A third screenshot, this one a forwarded email, hit social media with the subject line, "Super Bowl appearance denied." In the body? We've decided her involvement would overshadow our legacy athletes. Legacy athletes, meaning vets, and meaning stars who felt Caitlyn's rising stardom was eclipsing them, meaning individuals who did not want to share the spotlight. Fans immediately connected the dots. This was jealousy. This was politics. This was sabotage. This was intentional. But then came the first twist. The one nobody expected. The person who blocked her wasn't from WNBA marketing. It wasn't a PR officer. It wasn't a mid-level executive. It wasn't a veteran player. The denial came from someone much higher, and a name that showed up in the forwarded email. One of the WNBA's top league executives. Someone directly connected to franchise operations. And when fans realized who it was, they lost their minds. She hates Caitlyn. She's been salty all year. She's the one behind all the tone down the hype messaging. Receipts began circulating. Old interviews, shady quotes, like suspicious statements. It's important not to let one player overshadow the league. We want to avoid relying too heavily on one star. Marketing must remain balanced. Fans now understood. Balanced equals hold Caitlyn back. But Caitlyn wasn't done. Because alongside her bombshell, she attached one sentence that flipped the internet upside down. "I know exactly who blocked me, and I'm done protecting people who don't protect me." Boom. That was the moment the story became bigger than the Super Bowl. Bigger than Bad Bunny, bigger than halftime. This was a war. Caitlyn versus the system. Caitlyn versus jealousy. Caitlyn versus gatekeeping. Caitlyn versus the hidden power structure inside the WNBA. But here's where the first major twist detonates. The Super Bowl block wasn't the only thing this executive sabotaged. She had been interfering for months, cutting Caitlyn out of promos, blocking brand requests, limiting media access, and rejecting sponsorship collaborations that Caitlyn herself wanted to do. Rerouting opportunities to veterans instead. Caitlyn had no idea. Until that night. Until Bad Bunny's manager told her the truth. Until the emails leaked. Until the receipts dropped. But the biggest twist? That executive wasn't working alone. And the insider who leaked everything? There's someone very close to Caitlyn. Someone with access. Someone with motive. Someone who's been watching the sabotage unfold quietly. And someone who finally said, "Enough." And in the next section, the identity of the insider becomes the next massive reveal. But before that, Caitlyn's bombshell has triggered something irreversible. A full-scale WNBA civil war. Players are taking sides. Executives are deleting messages. Sponsors are asking questions. Fans are demanding accountability. And the mastermind is preparing a public statement. One Caitlyn is ready to destroy. Caitlyn Clark's bombshell didn't just trend. It dominated every corner of the internet. Major networks paused Super Bowl coverage just to talk about her. Sports radios cut their halftime breakdowns mid-sentence. Even commentators who never talk WNBA were scrambling for answers. But inside the league offices, it was absolute panic. Phones vibrating non-stop. execs shouting behind closed doors, PR managers sweating through their shirts, agents dialing each other like the world was ending. And because Caitlyn didn't just hint at sabotage, she named the sabotage. She exposed the truth. They blocked her. On purpose. To protect veterans. To balance exposure. To control the narrative. And the mastermind, the league executive behind the denial, was now under digital attack. But then something even more shocking happened. A group of players publicly sided with Caitlyn. Not subtle likes, not cryptic emojis, not quiet support. They went full vocal. When one guard tweeted, "If they blocked her from the Super Bowl, imagine what else they've blocked." Another star posted, "We've known for a long time something wasn't right." A rookie commented, "She's speaking for all of us." Boom, unity, the exact thing the mastermind feared. Because once players realized Caitlyn was being controlled the same way they were, everything changed. But things got even more intense when a fourth message leaked. This time, a full email chain, not just a screenshot. That revealed that 3 major brands, all wanting Caitlyn for NFL crossover promotions, were redirected to alternative WNBA athletes. Meaning, they stole her opportunities and handed them to others. No wonder jealousy was brewing. No wonder tension had been building. No wonder Caitlyn finally snapped. But the chain contained something much darker. A handwritten note scanned at the bottom of one email. "CC's exposure must be strategically managed. Too much visibility too soon harms the league's balance. Fans lost it. Harms the league? She is the league. This is insane level sabotage. This is sick." And yet the WNBA leadership still hadn't responded. So naturally, ESPN analysts, influencers, NBA players, and even NFL stars jumped in. Patrick Mahomes reposted the bombshell. Saweetie commented, "Booker simply wrote, 'Messy.' Donovan Mitchell said, 'Us release the full emails.' Everybody knew something bigger was coming. They were right. Because then, the whistleblower struck again. At 10:21 p.m., their burner account posted, "She wasn't just blocked, she was blacklisted from all NFL week events." Wait, what? Fans went ballistic. So they did more than block her? Blacklisted? By who? Why? Drop the receipts. And the whistleblower did. A full logistics document showed Caitlyn's name removed from the celebrity welcome dinner, the sponsored media day, the pre-game athlete salute, the blue carpet photo line, the private influencer suite mixer, and the halftime celeb tunnel. Meaning, Caitlyn Clark wasn't blocked from one event. She was locked out of everything. This wasn't balancing exposure. This wasn't protecting veterans. This wasn't coordinated scheduling. This was a systematic erasure. A deliberate effort to minimize her presence at the biggest entertainment event in America. But why? The answer wasn't revealed until the next leak. A DM dump, a series of messages between 2 high-ranking executives. One message said, "If CC gets Super Bowl exposure, the league becomes Caitlyn-centric. That's not sustainable." The reply, "The vets won't tolerate being overshadowed. We need a long-term hierarchy." And then the nuclear line. "If this continues, CC will control sponsorship leverage. We must redirect opportunities before she realizes her power." Before she realizes her power. That was the motive. They weren't protecting veterans. They weren't protecting the league. They were protecting their control. The control to decide who gets exposure. The control to decide who becomes the face of the league. The control to limit Caitlyn's influence before she realized how massive it truly was. But at this point, I'm the mastermind, the executive behind everything, still hadn't said a word. Not a tweet. Not a statement. Not a denial. Absolute silence. Until she made her first move. At 11:03 p.m., the WNBA posted a stiff, corporate-toned statement on her behalf. "We are aware of the situation. The league did not block Caitlin Clark from attending any NFL events. We are reviewing the matter." Fans instantly called BS. Generic damage control. Zero accountability. This is getting uglier. But Caitlin wasn't done. Minutes later, she posted again. This time with a line that set the internet on fire. "Funny, that's not what the receipts show." Boom. Caitlin publicly accused leadership of lying ballgame. This isn't league politics anymore. This is war. When the whistleblower, sensing momentum, dropped the next twist. A screenshot of the exact message where the mastermind blocked Caitlin's attendance. No excuses, no ambiguity. Her name, her words, her decision. The comment section exploded. She lied. She got caught. She sabotaged CTL and thought no one would find out. She is the problem. The pressure became unbearable. And finally, the mastermind broke her silence. She posted, "This situation is being misinterpreted, but the decision was made collectively. I will address this fully tomorrow." Collectively. That one word blew everything apart, because the whistleblower immediately countered. With audio, a leaked voice note, a private recording, from a meeting 3 weeks earlier. The mastermind's voice was unmistakable. "Caitlin's rising too fast. We can't let outside organizations dictate her exposure. If the Super Bowl wants her, they can wait." Bro. The mastermind said it herself. "That's why I denied the request." She confessed on audio. And within minutes, the internet erupted. Sports outlets broke into live coverage. Commentators screamed on air. Former players demanded resignations. The NBA Players Association clapped back. But the biggest shock? The whistleblower added one more message. "I'm not the only one leaking. She has someone close. Very close." Meaning, someone in the mastermind's inner circle, a person she trusted, and a person who heard everything, is secretly helping Caitlin. And that insider's identity will break the internet, because the whistleblower ended with, "You won't believe who it is." The minute the audio leak hit the internet, the mastermind clearly saying, "That's why I denied the request." Everything spun completely out of control. The public didn't react slowly. There was no hesitation. No, "let's wait for context." It was instant combustion. Timeline flooded. TikTok stitched the clip 50,000 times in 1 hour. YouTube channels went live mid-Super Bowl breakdown. ESPN anchors ripped up their original scripts, and fans were done playing calm. She lied to our faces. She denied Caitlin out of jealousy. She tried to bury the truth. This is the biggest scandal the WNBA has ever seen. But then something insane happened. Bad Bunny responded. Not through a PR team, not through a lawyer, not through a corporate statement. He responded himself. He commented under a TikTok exposing the email chain. "We invited her. She was welcome." Boom. That comment alone hit 2 million likes in 30 minutes. But he didn't stop there. He posted a story with a single sentence. "Respect the athletes who bring people to the game." Direct, sharp, subtle, but not subtle. Fans immediately knew. He was talking about Caitlin, because no female athlete in America is bringing more people to the game right now. The internet lost it. Not Bad Bunny versus WNBA execs? This crossover was not on my bingo card. He's backing Caitlin publicly. It's over. Then his manager, the same man seen in the leaked backstage photo with Caitlin, posted the other half of the story. Truth wins. The icing on the cake? a basketball emoji, and a microphone emoji. A pure mic drop. Then the NFL jumped in. They released a statement faster than people could process. The NFL extended multiple invitations to Caitlin Clark's representatives for Super Bowl week involvement. Availability was declined by the WNBA. Declined by the WNBA. It was over. There was no spinning this, no PR tricks left, no misinterpreted excuses. The WNBA looked guilty. But wait, this is where it gets savage. The NBA, not the WNBA. The NBA reposted the NFL's statement with the caption, "Players deserve respect." Brew. The NBA has never interfered with WNBA drama like this. They always stay neutral. But Caitlin Clark's situation was bigger than sports politics. Her being blocked was bad business for the whole basketball ecosystem. Sponsors noticed. Fast. Nike pulled a scheduled WNBA promo post. Gatorade locked comments on theirs. A T&T reached out to Caitlin's agent privately. Fanatics boosted Caitlin's merch, but not the league's. It was the beginning of a sponsor rebellion, and nothing terrifies a league more than money walking out the door. Meanwhile, WNBA players were falling into three camps. Camp 1, Team Caitlin. She told the truth. These players were done being quiet. One posted, "We've been silenced for years." Another, "They ghost our requests but block hers? Enough." A third went viral after tweeting, "She's saying what we're all scared to say." Camp 1 was growing fast. Rookies, mid-level players, even a few veterans who'd never spoken up before suddenly got brave. Because Caitlin wasn't just fighting for herself. She was exposing the system that held all of them back. And players felt that. Camp 2, the veterans, embarrassed and defensive. And some vets posted cryptic shade. Drama is a distraction. Keep focus on the game. The league is bigger than one person. But fans tore these comments apart. She's not distracting. She's exposing the truth. Funny how y'all are quiet about corruption but loud about Caitlin. You benefited from the system she's fighting. This group started looking jealous, out of touch, and scared of losing relevance. Camp 3, the silent ones, the most suspicious. Everyone was watching them. But why weren't they saying anything? Were they guilty? Were they benefiting from the old system? Were they connected to the mastermind? One silence stood out most. The silence of a certain superstar veteran closely connected to the executive who blocked Caitlin. Fans began whispering, "Is she the one who didn't want Caitlin at the Super Bowl? Is she part of the inner circle? Has she been benefiting from Caitlin being held back?" The theories were getting dangerous. Comment sections turned into war zones. People demanded names. But the real explosion came from fans digging deeper into the whistleblower's message. She has someone close, very close. Who was close to Caitlin? A teammate? A coach? A league staffer? Somebody from Iowa days? Someone who traveled with her? Someone with access to private league emails? Speculation went insane. Some thought it was a rookie who idolized her. Some thought it was a staff member disgusted by corruption. Some thought it was a veteran tired of being used by leadership. And then, a theory blew up that nobody expected. What if the insider is someone from the NFL? They saw everything happen in real time. They had access to all communications. But another theory hit even harder. What if the insider is someone from Bad Bunny's team? This theory exploded because his manager approached Caitlin backstage. His team had communication with the WNBA. His team saw the sabotage happen. They had nothing to lose by exposing WNBA corruption. They had everything to gain by supporting America's most viral athlete. Fans started zooming in on the leaked files, noticing tiny Spanish-language watermarks, timestamp formats commonly used by concert production staff, and email thread structures identical to those used by entertainment agencies. And suddenly, it made sense. Maybe the insider wasn't from the WNBA. Maybe the insider was someone who benefited from Caitlyn being at the Super Bowl. Someone who saw she was blocked. Someone who got angry. Maybe someone with receipts. Someone on Bad Bunny's side. But the whistleblower shut that theory down quickly with a new message. No, it's someone inside your league. Someone who's been watching this for months. Boom, back to square one. Now everyone was suspicious. Some players began unfollowing the mastermind. Some staffers wiped WNBA from their bios. Some coaches locked their accounts. Some execs deleted old tweets supporting veterans over rookies. The WNBA wasn't just rattled. It was fully fractured. But then the shocking reveal of this section dropped. At 1:14 a.m., a fourth leak surfaced. A full conversation transcript from a private internal Zoom meeting. The mastermind was in it. 2 other executives were in it. And a player was in it. Nobody knew the player's name. The transcript only marked them as player confidential, fans freaked out. Oh, which player was in that meeting? Is that the insider? OMG, it's someone we would never suspect. Because if a player was in those meetings, that means they saw everything, they heard everything, they were quietly documenting everything, and they had now sided with Caitlyn. But the transcript ended with one chilling line spoken by the mastermind. If Caitlyn keeps going down this path, we will have to reposition her image. We cannot let her control the conversation. Reposition her image. Fans instantly understood the threat. Character sabotage, media manipulation, narrative control, a smear campaign. They wanted to humble her. They wanted to undermine her. They wanted to scare her into silence. But instead, she exposed them. And in doing so, she sparked a revolution. Everything was already burning, but nobody was prepared for what came next. While fans were guessing the insider's identity, while the WNBA scrambled to contain the leaks, while Bad Bunny's comment kept trending worldwide, while the NFL quietly distanced itself from the league, something else was happening behind the scenes, something the mastermind never thought would come out. A new notification appeared on the whistleblower's burner account. Not a message, not an email, not a screenshot. A video, 8 seconds long, blurry, shaky. But the audio was clear enough to freeze every WNBA fan mid-scroll. The mastermind's voice. She thinks she's untouchable. She has no idea who she's dealing with. Instant panic. Who is she threatening? Is she talking about Caitlyn? What is going on behind the scenes? But before the internet could process that clip, the whistleblower posted another one. This time, the camera was facing a laptop screen during a private meeting. 5 people were on the Zoom call. On one of them, the mastermind, was mid-sentence. Make sure player C understands the plan. If she doesn't play along, she loses her spot next season. Brew. A WNB. A player was being threatened into cooperating. The reactions were instant. This league is corrupt at the core. They're threatening careers? This makes the Caitlyn situation even worse. But then, the twist nobody saw coming cracked the internet in half. The third video, the whistleblower captioned it. Here's your insider. The clip opened with a woman sitting in a dimly lit room, hoodie up, voice disguised but shaking. I've been in these meetings. I've seen what they're doing, and I can't stay silent anymore. Caitlyn wasn't the first. She won't be the last. Chat. Exploded. OMG, it's a player. She's from inside the league. Who is it? Then she dropped the bomb. They blocked more than just Super Bowl events. They blocked sponsorships, on media deals, endorsements, and they're planning a smear campaign to control her narrative. Silence. Then chaos. A smear campaign. They were preparing to torch Caitlyn's entire reputation if she didn't fall in line. But here's where the twist hits full force. The whistleblower pulled back the hood, but only halfway. Viewers saw just a silhouette of curly hair, a glimpse of a jersey, a chain with a single digit. And fans started guessing, it's a rookie, it's a starter, she's on the same team as Caitlyn. No, she's a veteran. But the whistleblower stopped the speculation with a final line. Her identity will be revealed when they make their next move. And they weren't kidding, because minutes later, Caitlyn posted something on her Instagram story. A black screen, white text, no emojis, no cryptic fluff. Someone warned me. Bro, fans lost it. She knows the insider. She's being threatened? What did they tell her? Then she posted a second slide. I won't back down. Now everybody understood. This wasn't a drama. This wasn't a PR issue. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was war. And the league was preparing to strike. How do we know? Because not even 10 minutes later, a major sports outlet reported that the WNBA is preparing a response package to reframe the narrative around Caitlyn Clark. Reframe the narrative. That's corporate speak for smear her, undermine her, control her, break her. But here's where the final twist of this section destroyed the internet. A screenshot leaked from a group chat of several veteran players. One message sent fans into meltdown. Don't worry, once the story drops, the public will turn on her. Oh my God, that meant 1. The veterans knew the smear was coming. 2. They expected the public to flip against Caitlyn. 3. They helped coordinate the pushback. And 4, they might be the ones feeding the mastermind ammunition. The comments went wild. They're jealous of her popularity. They're trying to end her career before it peaks. This is wild levels of sabotage. But before the section ends, one last notification arrived. The most important one. A final message from the whistleblower. They're meeting tomorrow. They're launching the plan. Caitlyn isn't safe. No. Who isn't safe? Safe how? Is it a PR attack? A suspension? A forced media silence? A leaked fake story? A manipulated clip? And why was the insider so terrified? Because the message ended with 3 chilling words. They know who. They know who. Meaning, the league discovered the identity of the insider. The mastermind is hunting for her. The veterans are preparing statements. The executives are organizing retaliation. And Caitlyn Clark, the one athlete who tried to tell the truth, is now standing in the center of a storm that could end careers, expose the league, and change women's sports forever. But the biggest question remains. Who is the insider? And what will the mastermind do now that she's been exposed? Because in part 2, somebody is going down, and it won't be who fans expect. If you're still here after everything that just unfolded, after the leaks, after the emails, after the audio, after the insider's shadowy confession, after the mastermind's exposed lies, after veterans secretly plotting, after a smear campaign prepared behind closed doors, then you already know. This is not a WNBA story anymore. This is a full-blown sports scandal, a corporate takedown, a battle for power, and a fight for the future of women's basketball, all happening in real time. Caitlyn Clark didn't just speak up. She cracked open a system built to silence, control, and manipulate the very athletes it claims to support. And now, the league is preparing to strike back. The veterans are circling their wagons. The mastermind is cornered and unpredictable. The insider's identity is hanging by a thread. Sponsors are watching every move. And Caitlyn, the biggest name in women's sports, is standing alone in the spotlight. The next 24 hours are going to decide everything.